Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and welcome back to another video on Lord of the Rings Home. Now, today I was hoping to be able to bring you some raid footage of Mines of Moria, but it turns out that I'm actually recording this pretty early, like after midnight. And so I was hoping that this would be available to play today, but it turns out that it's not. It turns out that we won't actually have the ability to play Mines of Moria until at least Monday. I want to kind of go over some of this news alongside some of the patch notes and why this is a little bit disappointing, why we should have had the raid keys to launch this raid immediately for our guilds because we have been waiting such a long time to be able to activate this, and we're going to have to wait about 5 days more, it would seem. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. So I need to bring you guys to basically the blog post. I mean, they don't, and this really pisses me off, honestly, about this game is that they don't actually bring the information to the players except for on the Discord. Now, I mean, let me know in the comments down below. When it comes, like, there's no inbox messages as far as I'm aware about the news about the changes to the game. So for everyone else, all you would notice is that you downloaded the new client, and you would come into basically this. Now, they did change the user interface a bit here while the raids are sitting here on the table rather than the picture, the square that was up here in the corner. So that's gone now, and I guess that's changed a little bit, but still, for the majority of the player base, they would log into basically nothing, right? I mean, they wouldn't really know unless they kept up to date with the Discord. Hasn't been posted on the official EA website, and so yeah, their communication in that regard is lacking because if they're assuming that everyone who plays this game is on the Discord, then they're flat wrong. But anyways, let's go into what changed. Now, not everything is going to be updated, so things that haven't actually, at least as of recording this video, that hasn't came to fruition, as far as I'm aware, is the stat improvements on the star ranks. Unless it has now. No. So my Ironhide's still at 25.6k hit points, so that should be much higher given that he's at 6 star. So that hasn't gone through as of the making of this video, but hopefully it won't be too much longer. So it says players may not see all the listed content changes or fixes until 24 hours. I don't know how long it's been now, maybe about 12 hours, honest. Yeah, just almost 12 hours, honestly. I'm kind of recording this at like 2 in the morning Pacific time, so take that for what it's worth. But hopefully this will be noticeable later on. But that's not really, what I'm getting at. It's the raids part, right? So we need to talk about this. So for those of you who don't really remember, but all the stuff related to the raids, you do need to be at least level 30 and be a part of a guild, of course. Raid keys will need to be gathered by completing daily objectives in order to unlock the raid itself for a guild. Now, this is one thing that's super important that I hope that everyone's paying attention. Do not claim your daily objectives right away because it may flip later. Now, I know that my frame kind of cuts off a little bit here at the bottom, but you can kind of see like the highlights of the pictures and stuff, right? And so I don't know where it's supposed to be exactly that the raid keys are supposed to be in. Maybe it's the very last part, like down here, complete all objectives, but really that's still just showing 5 Strider shards. So I don't know where in the objectives. Maybe it's the all clear, but it hasn't been added and there's nowhere available. So if you are doing your daily objectives, what I would suggest that you do is to do these, but don't claim them. Try to save it and claim it later on during the day in case it flips over, because it's going to be really important when it comes to getting the raid keys. We don't even actually know 100% how many raid keys it's going to take to launch and how many each player from the guild is going to be getting every day. Some of these are a bit of a mystery, but we'll read on a little bit because some of this is kind of important. To unlock the raid itself, players can expect to see the first raids being played around next Monday. But that depends on raid key collection rate. So what does that really mean? Does that mean that it could be earlier? Does that mean it could be later? I guess it assumes that it could be later, if you don't have a full guild or if you miss on collecting those raid keys for whatever reason. Honestly, I think this is a little bit of a bait and switch. This kind of frustrates me a little bit because everyone was waiting for the raids to be launched, expecting that to happen this week. There is also clarification that the raids are only going to be happening once per week, and that is also a little bit frustrating, although not surprising, but it does make me wonder that if this first chapter of the raids isn't all that in a bag of potato chips that I don't know if everyone's going to be sticking around month after month until the whole thing comes out. But that's just me. There are no restrictions on what characters you can use. That was kind of specified already. There are separate personal progression tracks and the guild progress tracks. You do have a limited number of attempts as well as a timer in which you'll need to earn as many points. That's 5 attempts, I'm pretty sure, in order to get points. Guilds will need to bank a certain amount of points in order to unlock and participate. Well, and so this really isn't happening yet because obviously there is no next chapter at this point. It does say chapter 1 is to start at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. So that's 2 p.m. today. So does that mean you can't start collecting raid keys until 2 p.m.? Maybe, and I'll have to let my guild know about this one as well. But so if you're able to do this, if you're not like way into the future, try to save your raid keys until, or your claims on your daily objectives until 2 p.m. I guess, and that's my plan. If you are somewhere in the future, like I don't know, India and beyond, possibly you might want to consider claiming your daily objectives for the day because it's just going to reset after this point, anyways. And though it's just a day, consider downloading the subject, blah, 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 that's not important. Players can complete and collect rewards for 1 raid a week. As we add additional chapters, this number will remain the same. However, players will notice the length of the raid improving. So we know that we're basically getting 1 chapter a month. We're getting chapter 2 next month, and then chapter 3 in September. Or sorry, I guess, it's one month, right? Like now, August, September, and October, with maybe the full thing out by, early November. But whether or not that everyone's actually going to be able to wait for all of this is another thing. Like I said, if it's not super, super exciting, 1 day a week is just not a lot of additional content for a full another month. And this is things that should have been in the game, honestly, right away. Like we keep saying beta 2.0, and it's still the case. Honestly, that's how I feel. Players cannot, there's some really important stuff here though regarding switching guilds. So for those of you who may be still doing this kind of thing, really important. Players cannot gather raid keys for your guild during the first 24 hours you join the guild. You also cannot participate in a raid that begins within the first 24 hours of joining a guild. And you can't participate in a raid if you've already done a raid for 6 days after your last participation in one, to avoid mercenary-like behavior, basically flip-flopping between guilds for this purpose because it only happens once a week. Now, I'm assuming that we're going to be able to launch this, at the time that we choose, assuming that we have enough raid keys. So whether or not that's going to be starting on Monday, and every 7 days thereafter, I don't know. The interesting part, what was that? That was, it wasn't a wiki article that I was had up for something else. Ignore that. Anyways, it does say that you can't participate in a raid basically 6 days after your last participation. So, I was wondering, is it possible that you could launch more than once a week? And I don't think that's the case, honestly, here. So, something to note. We're not going to go over the Gandalf the Grey kit. We already did that in the previous video. There is going to be a gold calendar, though. It's going to be 50,000 gold a day, totaling about 1.5 million gold over 30 days, basically. So that's nice, but I just kind of wonder what kind of rewards are we going to be getting out of the raids, and what can we expect as an improvement to the game's economy, because that's a really big problem in itself too. We're also getting new gear tiers. We're getting upwards to gear tier 9 and 10, which means that you will be able to upgrade your character. Currently it's capped at once you upgrade to gear tier 8, you can't go any further. So you'll have to put in the gear there to get to 9, and then put in the gear at 9 to get to 10, but you won't be able to put in any gear 10 gear. So essentially we have 2 extra gear tiers that you'll be able to improve your character on, which is quite a bit of stats to improve. They've added some new, I guess these are purple items into the main supply store, but what's really blocking from being able to upgrade to gear 9 and above is actually the purple catalysts. So that's what I call them, purple catalysts, the essences. You can't really do that now. I don't know why I'm going out of the character, because I can't really, again, this is something that's probably going to go into the game later, maybe after 2 p.m. today. But purple essences is something that's not currently available, and I hope that it will be in the new raid store, which we should be getting as well. Is that this one? No, it's not. Well, hopefully there's a tab for the raid stores coming soon as well, because that's not in the game yet either. So hopefully we'll see that from 12 So starting from 2 p.m. onwards. So also the star rank stuff, we've talked about this in quite a few of the other videos. I'm not going to go over it again. They're going ahead with this. They did kind of describe why that they're going to do that. I'm not going to go in through the full description here. It's quite lengthy, actually. And so for better or for worse, they've given an explanation on this, whether it's the explanation that people like or not. They basically say it's for the long-term health of the game, in terms of that there's one really important thing. Where is it? That they want the star levels to be basically the most important factor. And I forget they said that in one of the... It was quite a bit here. I forget. It's in here somewhere. They basically said flat out that they want the star ranks to be the biggest impact to your character's improvement. Not gear tier, not abilities, but flat star rank upgrades. That's just, what they want to happen in this game. And there was a myriad of bug fixes, which you can see in the Games Update channel for Lord of the Rings on the official Discord. Now, if you're not part of this, you can also see it in my own Boilon's Gaming Lounge Discord. We have the LotR news section as well in there. So if you need to take a look at it, you can find it there as well. But yeah, lots of things coming, but not yet. And that part is very disappointing. Maybe we'll have another discussion tomorrow about, just how fast raid keys generate, how this is going to work. Take a look at the raid store if we can see that, and hopefully this gets unlocked pretty soon and we can do another video talking about the whole shebang. But unfortunately, we're not going to actually play anything until Monday, probably at the earliest. So that's it, everybody. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. Was just a little bit disappointed that I won't be able to play this today. But until next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.